Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is JP Miller with Career Inclusive. It's great to see you today. Hey, today we're going to talk about bullet points. Everything you want to know about everything you want to know about bullet points, but we're too afraid to ask. Hey, I'm going to leave that in there. Yeah, words, phrases, expressions, they can be a real thing. Yeah, so let's get into it. Resumes are tough, right? Resumes can be very difficult to write. This feel unnatural. It's like you got to fit your whole life into one page. It can be really difficult and it's kind of a bother. I mean, you can get away in some European countries with like a two-page resume. 2 pages is max. I don't care if you're even in Germany where like page limits are a little lax. You want to get that baby down to one page, maybe two at the very most. But that's it. And part of that comes from writing concise bullet points that are about one line long, 1.5 lines max. And I see a lot of these 2 column resumes out there for these free downloads. Don't even bother with those. ATS can't read your 2 column resumes. ATS is jarbling the text and mixing it all up and making your resume eh, very difficult to engage in, to put it nicely. Use a single column resume, full width to width. Put the dates on the right margin. I see a lot of dates on the left margin, and then you're only giving yourself like 3/4 of the resume to write bullet points. When you put in headings on the left margin, then you got the bullets on the right. That looks nice if you don't have a whole lot to talk about and you're trying to like create space in the resume, fill space. I should say, try to fill space in the resume because you're trying to cover for like a lack of experience. But my people, I'm talking to some experienced STEM professionals here, and you want a resume full width, left margin to right margin, about an inch on each side margin wise, inch on the top and the bottom. So you're not cutting off your printing and print the resume to test it and check it out. Make sure that so let's get into it. Let's get into the details of the bullets. So when you're writing bullet points, that's what we're focusing on here. There's the whole resume, but we're focusing on your bullet points. You're writing your bullet points. There's a template you can follow. It's very simple. It's open with an action verb, name a technology or a skill that you used, and then showcase the results of the work. Always focus on the big accomplishments. I see a lot of bullet points that are talking about minor responsibilities and like the little things that you do, like daily tasks. Come on, snore, snooze. That stuff is boring. We don't want to talk about like say you're an accountant, I manage actuarial tables and process numbers and write reports, or your executive assistant, manage the boss's time and take care of the executives so that they can meet meetings and they don't get double booked. Like, yeah, we know that's what you do. It's in your title. Like, this is an association, it's a connotation. That's boring. Don't bore your recruiter. Your recruiter is looking through 100 resumes. You're talking to like FANG companies. Recruiters might see 100 resumes a day. If you're applying to like a recruiter, like a recruitment household, like a not a household, but like a company, they're looking at hundreds of resumes a day. Maybe a smaller company is looking at a dozen for a job. Okay, maybe you can get by with like not being outstanding, but why? Why settle for less if you can? And you can because you've got me on your YouTube. I'm providing you the best tips you're going to find on writing bullet points. So make bullet points that are going to stand out. Open with an action verb. What's an action verb? An action verb is a verb that gives you movement, gives you a sense of being alive, right? Something like a lot of times for us, my developers, my engineers, you're going to open with action verbs such as like developed, engineered. Yeah, that was easy, right? Designed, created, built. Maybe for my managers, managed, oversaw. Uh, what else? I could go on. I could go on. For my analysts, you could say analyzed, visualized, integrated, interpreted, maximized. These are all action verbs that give your bullets a punch, right? A sense of being alive, a sense of doing. a sense of getting accomplished things done, and then focus on the big things that you did. Those, like when you think back on your job and the job that you had and the big accomplishments that you had, that's the stuff you want to write about. And if you've got to, like while you're at the job, keep a notebook of the big accomplishments so you don't forget, or like update your bullet points every 2 to 3 months. That's what I would recommend to do. So you don't forget the awesome things that you do. Because I'm telling you, we're so overworked in so many of our jobs that it's really easy to forget that you maximized your programs by more than 60%, and you reach more than 139%. You increase the reach of students in your organization by 139% in 2 years, like I did, right? And it's easy to forget those things if you're not measuring and you're not catching and collecting that data. It's very easy to lose that knowledge and that information. And you don't want to lose that because that's very valuable. Like, take that to another employer, to some competition, to say, hey, from the time I started at my current employer, I increased the students that we reached by 139%, and I increased the number of program offerings by 60%. Would you like me to do that for you? Right? Yes, I would, because I know that a student is worth like $20,000, and you can multiply that by 139%. And every program I create is worth $50,000, and you multiply that by 60%. Well, hey, you're going to make me millions of dollars. You're going to make me rich, right? And you have those kind of numbers, then you're a shoo-in. But if you're not measuring, if you're not keeping track of the statistics and the efficacy of your work, then it's going to be a lot harder. All you're going to say is that I created programs. Well, yeah, you are the programs manager. We expect you to be creating programs, right? Uh, I reached a number of students and they really enjoyed our programs. Like, okay, we hope so. Yeah, so you put the results in, the quantified results offers concrete data, concrete results of what you're able to accomplish, and that becomes much more impressive. If you were a salesman or a saleswoman, you could say, I reached a lot of clients. I reached clients. I made phone calls. I made cold calls, and I sold to clients. Yeah, we hope you do because you're a salesperson. But if you say, I actively engaged. I spent, say, 60% of my days were spent in face to face conversations with prospects, and I closed 30% of every 30% of my prospects on a revolving 28 days, increasing the number of clients by 300% for the organization, increasing total annual revenue by $5 million. Well, now you can barter and you can really push on that leverage to get yourself a nice bonus, or to negotiate for a higher commission rate, because hey, I've made this other company $5 million in a year. Wouldn't you like me to do that for you? Well, yeah, I would. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I give most of my salespeople a 20% commission. I'll give you a 25% commission because you're A-star quality. And that's what quantified results will do for you. If you haven't been good about collecting data, or the organization doesn't collect data, or they don't share their data that they're collecting, then do your best to guesstimate. You can keep a tally of your work over a week, over a month. You can um, forecast that out. You can look back and you can estimate what you did in the past. You can extrapolate the data and you can make an estimation. You can show your quantities in a form of percentage or as a real number, whatever is most impressive. Do not lie, but at the same time, don't be humble. This is your time to boast a little, to brag a little, right? Just to say, hey, this is what I can do. This is who I am. This is what I can do, right? It's not a time. The resume is not a place to be bashful or shy or to be humble. This is the time to be boastful. And then revise. Revise those bullet points. Revise, revise, revise. Just keep revising until they're perfect, until they're down to like one line on a full page resume, or 1.5 lines at max. And a recruiter can read through those. And then for every job that you've held, in say about the last 10 years, we don't need to go beyond 10 years, write about 4 bullet points for each job. And you have that like, this is what I did, this is my mission, this is who I am, this is what I target on. And then 1, 2, 3 bullets that showcase awesome accomplishments. You're going to stand out from the crowd. Employers are going to love it. Okay, so tell me what you do for your bullet points. Tell me about your struggles with resumes and bullet points. I know they're very difficult to write. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of revisions, but you can do it. And I'm here for you. Join our Discord, join our community Discord. I'll help you with your resume, talk to you about your resume. You want to work with me? Let's talk. Go to my website, careerinclusive.com. Check out the Meet with Me menu option, and let's get an appointment. Let's talk. Let's get let's talk about your situation. I'll give you real advice on that call, totally free, no charge. And let's see if it's a good option for us, you and me, to work together. Okay, this has been JP Miller with Career Inclusive. Hope you have a great time. Thank you for being here. Check my other videos. Sayonara.